You just have to ask and allow that village to come in. But also remember, when it's your turn to be the village, be the village. And I think we forget that's literally what we were created to do. We were created to experience birth with other females, mamas, aunties, cousins. You were meant to have that feminine energy around and encourage you. And women who said, I've done this before.
Hey there. Welcome to Parties to Playdates. I'm Kendall.
And I'm Jess. We're here to fill your day with warmth and laughter.
Join us as we navigate the chaos and joy of everyday life.
We're all about sharing real-life moments with a dash of humor and practical tips.
So grab your coffee and settle in for a cozy chat.
Because here, every moment is a story worth sharing.
No topic is off limit.
And every listener is a friend.
Let's get this party started. Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of Parties to Playdates. We have a fabulous guest today, Savannah.
Hi.
She also has her own podcast, Mama Knows Best. It's all about mama everything, birth, postpartum. You're a doula.
I am a doula.
Why don't you tell us about your
Sure. Yeah. So my name is Savannah, and I'm a mom of 2 daughters. I am a birth doula, and I'm really passionate about everything preconception, pregnancy, labor, postpartum. But yeah, it's the world that I live in.
I love it.
Yeah.
I think that's perfect for us.
Yeah.
I love that. How did you get started in that?
Funny enough, I got married pretty young. I got married at 19, a couple months before I turned 20. And my husband and I, we knew that we always wanted to start having kids really young, and we wanted to do everything early. That's always what we envisioned for ourselves. And he was definitely ready to start having babies before I was. I'm like 20. Right? Yeah. Yeah. No, he's only a year older than me.
Oh, wow.
But he just always wanted to be a dad and do that whole thing. So anyway, I saw on YouTube, one of my really good friends actually had posted a birth account on one of her Instagram stories. So I ended up getting a recommended video in my YouTube of a home birth vlog. And I was like, yeah. So I watched it and I became obsessed. And what's actually really funny is when I was 6 years old, my mom got into a car accident and we ended up at a chiropractor. And this chiropractor, his wife ended up having a home water birth, and it made the Destin News, basically, in the newspaper, but they had it framed in their office, the newspaper article. And when I was 6 years old, I saw that, and something like clicked for me. At 6, I was like, I don't know. I want that. That is for me, a seed totally planted in my heart. And I was like, that is what I need. I want to be a mermaid. I want to have a water birth and have a mermaid baby. And it's funny because my mom, she always said growing up, you should be a baby doctor. You should be a pediatrician. She always had that kind of speaking over me. And at 6 years old, it did not click to me like, okay, a water birth and probably means you're going to be at home. It definitely means you're not going to have an epidural. None of that. Logistics. Nothing. Obviously, I was 6 years old. I didn't really know how it worked, especially. All I knew was I was like, I have to have that. And that kind of got tucked away in my heart for years until I saw that home birth video. And it all came back up and I was like, that is for me. And when I saw that, I was like, I know I am ready to start a family. I am ready to do this.
Cool.
Yeah. And so my husband and I started trying for a baby, and it was the worst timing probably to have a baby. We were so broke. We were like, everything was really not making sense on paper. I was just like, Lord, please, I want a baby so bad. And after a few months, I found out I was pregnant, and I was 21, and then I ended up having her at 22. So that was our first baby, and
I'm assuming that was a home birth.
That was actually a birth center.
Oh, really? In New York City?
Yes.
Very cool.
Which I listened to y'all's birth episodes because when you asked me to come on, I was like, why me? And I started going through and I saw the home birth story episodes and I was like, okay, this is what I do. I gotta hear these.
It's all home birth.
Yeah. Also, can we just talk about your midwife, your first midwife?
Oh, yeah.
She is a unicorn. Like, if I could,
she was a boss, man.
That is so cool.
She is literally, okay, if you haven't listened to their birth story episodes, go listen, because she is literally the epitome of putting labor back into the mother's hands.
Yeah.
Like,
that's really
what
cool the
it
way you
sounds
said that.
like to me.
That just
Yeah.
gave me chills.
Yeah.
Yeah, she really was. She made you feel so confident, and she was so confident that you were just like, oh, okay.
Rock star.
Yeah, I can do this. There was no fear. There was none of that. She was just like, no, this is how it is, and this is what you can do, and you've got it. So she was, I freaking loved her.
Yeah.
She was amazing.
Have you ever thought about doing midwifery, or are you happy with being doula?
I'm happy with being a doula. I'll be honest. The way I got into it was I really wanted to start doing some doula training, and I did that, scratch the surface a bit through my first pregnancy. And then you experience birth and you're like, wow, I knew nothing. Really, after that is when I started attending births. After I had my baby, I started attending births and
like friends?
actually, yeah. And like actually
Just random strangers.
see, yeah.
I'm like, did you get some
do?
Yeah, I figure like people need, experience. And
Yeah,
you don't
and
have friends that are helping
a lot
babies
of
out.
Hey, you look like you're about to go into labor. Can I come by?
Just slide on my number. Exactly, no, for real. So I thought about it, and there's a couple different ways, and it definitely depends on what state you're living in, the laws and the certifications and the extra schooling and things like that you need. And I like the flexibility. As a doula, I can say whatever I want.
Yeah.
Without medical liability, because I'm not a medical professional. I can't administer or give medication. I'm not going to be checking anybody's cervixes. I'm not doing anything like that. My job is to educate, physically support, emotionally support, spiritually support for those who are religious, and have so much comfort in that, and being the one who can plainly, unbiased, lay out information and say, what do you actually think about this? Rather than having the responsibility of the midwife who has all the skill and has all the liability. And it's very different. Yeah. And I never really imagined myself going through medical school and college, which I would have to do. And it just doesn't really feel like the right lane for me when being a doula feels very congruent with who I am.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's great. Andrew, her husband, Andrew, and you have the same seed planted, because after he was doing home births with them, he was talking about being a midwife for like quite a minute.
He really was. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. He loved it because he knew more about what happens, about how a baby comes out, the physical aspect and all that. He knows way more about that because he's a big researcher.
Yes.
So he'd be like, oh, this is going to happen. That's going to, and I'd be like, whatever.
Let's
I'm just like,
go.
let's just do this. I don't even care what, just get it out. Can we just do that? That's all I care about. I don't even know how it comes out. I just
know it will.
Yeah, you can't see. He sees everything. But you're just like, I can't. There's a belly in the way. I have to even with a mirror. It's backwards in a way.
I'm busy doing other things right now. So it doesn't matter what I
love that. I think that's actually really missing in the husband piece.
Isn't that because he is very much, if you ever meet him, he's very, what's the word? Passionate. Very passionate. And so he was very passionate about midwife and like deliveries of babies and things like that. And then we also joked about it because he's like a Viking looking dude. And could you imagine? Right?
He's like the last person that would roll up to me like, I'm your midwife.
You're like, oh, they chose him, like just like a face photo. You'd be like, oh, okay. Sometimes he wears glasses, so he looks a little more professional. And then he shows up, and Ryan would, they're good friends, Ryan and Andrew. Ryan would be like, okay, if he showed up and was like, all right, let me check your cervix. What's going on? He'd be like, what?
So good.
Such an unspoken thing of masculinity, though, is the gentleness piece.
Yeah.
The softness. And I don't know, I think that's true masculinity, is having that, the double-sided of holding place and holding security for someone, and then also knowing when to have the tenderness of bringing a baby into the world.
Yeah.
Yeah, so cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it really shows up. It's really cool.
So, Kendall, what did they say or do this week?
So 2 weeks ago, if anyone saw our last 2 episodes with you just by yourself, I was on the little family emergency. Maverick had to get stitches in his finger. I don't even know if I told you that. I haven't really told anybody or posted anything because it was very traumatic for myself and for him. So I was at the emergency room. So thank you for dealing with all of that by yourself. So that's why I was gone. He got 4 stitches in his finger. He had a crush injury to his fingertip. He dropped a weight on his finger and it sliced open, like kind of took the tip of his finger off a little bit. And it's actually healed. We're taking stitches out tomorrow. Thank goodness. Me and Ryan are going to do it ourselves.
Oh yeah, it's easy.
I'm so nervous.
Yeah,
but we're going to do it.
Easy.
But the second night, He's still in a lot of pain, poor thing, and you have to change his bandage every night before he goes to bed. So taking the bandage off was one of the hardest things to do with him because he was so paralyzed and traumatized by his finger, and he would kick and scream. And so I'm trying to hold him, Ryan's trying to get it all off, and then try to put another Band-Aid, clean it, put another Band-Aid back on as he's having a mental breakdown over it, which is totally fine and acceptable because I would be too. And I can't exactly remember why Ryan did this, but I think it was the Band-Aid folded over on accident, touched the wrong part of the Band-Aid, and like you have to now undo it or get it. And he said, fuck. And Maverick in the middle of his crying went, fuck.
Oh no.
And we were like, oh my God. If
It's only a matter of
if
time.
you listen to this a lot, he doesn't say a lot of words. Like he's in speech therapy. He's like just out to call me mama. And then he cussed for the first time. And he and I looked at each other. We were like, oh my gosh. And then we were like, we couldn't stop laughing. We literally could not stop laughing. We were like, we shouldn't be laughing, but this is like the most perfect moment to use a bad cuss word. And it was hysterical to us. But poor thing, he sat there like a champ. And now he just he just holds his finger up and he just puts it on. He's like, all right, we're good now. So
You got to get it out.
yes, it was so funny. I was honestly very proud of him.
Yeah.
Because he never, and it's funny, we also talked about this too. He doesn't really say the full word. Like when he says walk, he only says the first two letters. He will say walk.
Mm-hmm.
He never says walk. So when he said fuck, he said uck. Which we were like, oh, he said the last end of the word. Maybe he's learning to do, I don't know. It was just a funny thing thinking about where his brain was. But yeah, sorry for the cuss words, but
It's fine.
it was funny.
Well, Savannah, what about you? What did they say or do this week?
My daughter, she'll be 3 this week.
Mm-hmm.
Aww.
And she is hilarious. And every day she's got some kind of a comedy going on. Recently, my mom, who she calls G Mommy, got her first pair of heels.
Oh my gosh, so cute.
Yeah, and they're these little white dress shoes with heels. They're a little too big, actually, but she really is convinced they're tap shoes. And so,
We love that.
so like 7 a.m., the tap shoes are going on.
Oh my gosh, I love that.
Yeah, so that has been a highlight.
Welcome to the tap dancing house.
Yeah, we're in tap phase for sure.
Love that.
I love that.
That's so cute.
It's really sweet, actually.
Best anything going on in your world?
This past weekend, I was helping a friend set up for her daughter's birthday party,
Mm-hmm.
and it was a Labubu theme.
First off, I have no idea what that is.
There are these little stuffed animals with these crazy,
They're
creepy teeth and
super
faces
creepy.
that are like these really wide
Ew.
grins with these really weird teeth. They're not sharp, they're rounded off, but they're almost sharp. I don't know, they look creepy. Anyway, they're a big hit. All the kids love them. So we were setting up, and I had brought these pants that have fringe on the sides
I love them.
to wear for the party. And so we got done setting up, and I went in the bathroom to get into my pants, and I'm in the stall, and this little girl comes in, and she's like, "Mom?" And I was like, "Not your mom." And I totally see her face pressed against the sliver. And she goes, "Are you changing your clothes?" I look over and I'm like, "Yes, I am." And she's like, "Why are you doing that?" I was like, "I have to put on my party pants." She's like, "Why do you have party pants?" I was like,
All the questions.
"I'm going to a party." I'm like, "Why don't you have party pants?" She's like, "Why would I need party pants?" I was like, "To wear them to parties." She's like, "Well, I don't even have pants." Like, so, and I'm like,
Oh, she
was probably like 6 or 7.
Okay.
The questions.
And then
Yeah.
she's like, "This other stall is locked. I can't get in this other stall." Basically, like, "Get your ass out of the stall, Miss Party Pants. I need to go to the bathroom." So then I rush. I don't have my shoes on. I grab all my stuff and I go outside. I was like, "Go ahead." And so then I'm in the open part of the bathroom trying to put my shoes on, get my shoes tied. And she's in there being real quiet. And she goes, "Why are you still in here?" And I was like, "Oh my gosh.
Because I can't get dressed that quick in a little baby stall.
I just needed to tie my shoes and wash my hands and fix my hair." And she's like, "You're taking a really long time." And I was just like, "Do you need privacy?" I didn't say that. I was just like,
Yeah,
then
for
I feel a little rushed by this little girl. Oh my gosh, I gotta get out of here. It was
Fantastic.
It was so funny. So anyway, next time, just wear your party pants to set up. It'll be way
There you go.
easier.
No, you need the quick change.
The quick change.
The rip away.
I need the rip away party pants.
That would be even better. What a party trip.
Those are real party pants for
Those
sure.
really are
Yeah.
the real ones.
That's so
So
funny.
funny.
This month, if anybody's been watching, we were doing suicide awareness for September. And I thought depression, because we hit on that the last 2 episodes. sometimes unfortunately does lead to suicidal thoughts. And I thought postpartum depression should be something we talk about because it's not very much out in the open, because I think it's covered or it's not noticeable as much as, I don't want to say regular depression, but postpartum depression is so serious. And I would like to know your story about everything.
Yeah. Have either of you guys experienced postpartum depression or anxiety or anything like that?
Not postpartum. I've had anxiety in the past that's been debilitating when I was 19 and on a little bit. I have totally suppressed it and I'm good now, but not postpartum.
Okay.
I wouldn't say that I've experienced postpartum depression, but I've definitely had some low moments.
Oh yeah, there's definitely
You know what I mean? Like, so I don't know how much of that falls into stuff like that, but I've never.
Which is something to
spectrum
about.
Yeah. But just kind of, I can probably understand somebody's feelings.
Yeah, right?
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
With 4 kids under the age of 5 at one point, I'm
That's what I
pretty
was
sure
thinking.
I can experience
There are
some dark moments. Husbands deployed and stuff, you know, husbands,
I like
multiple
crying.
husbands.
I cried.
I mean, just one husband, guys.
So funny, Jess.
First, actually, I do want to be clear. I'm not a postpartum doula. I don't specialize in this. A lot of this is personal experience, and anecdotal evidence per se from friends, clients, that kind of thing. I think what you said is true about how sometimes it goes a little bit more unnoticed, because I think that if you isolate and hide away, it's way more excusable because you're like, oh, she's just at home with the newborn, she's enjoying her time, which, yes, all of those things are probably happening simultaneously. But I feel like it's a lot harder to spot for your friends to spot because you're in a different season anyway. So it's hard to see what's the difference between newborn dreamland and, oh, I'm in postpartum depression right now.
Yeah.
No, so for me personally, I didn't have it with my second, and I did have it with my first. But I think one of the things that is interesting is it can be covert and you don't realize that you were in it until you're out of it. And that's something I hear a lot is like, oh, wow, I didn't realize I did have postpartum depression or anxiety or rage until it's gone. That's so true. I can literally remember when my baby hit around 8 months old, I woke up one morning and I was like, back to normal. And I know part of that is postpartum fog and haze that people speak about, but it truly was like, I experienced this for 8 months and then I woke up and I was like, whoa, the last 8 months I have been in hell, to say the least. And some ways to spot that is maybe you don't initially bond with your baby, which is an interesting one. For some women, they don't have that immediate, they see their baby's face and they're like, I would die for you. I would do everything for you. That doesn't happen to everybody or with every kid or each pregnancy.
And it's a scary thought because I've definitely had thoughts of like the second one coming and what if I can't feel the same way about this one that I did with my first one.
Of course.
It's a scary thought.
It is a scary thought.
And it's terrifying.
It is. No, it is. Even for some women maybe who have that initial feeling of, oh, where's the magic here? And it's not there. Almost that shame and guilt of, why don't I feel this, is what triggers the postpartum depression. So maybe not the feeling itself, but the mental spiral that happens after. And I think there's so many facets. There's a nutritional aspect. There's a stress aspect. There's physical, what did you just experience through your birth? A mental and emotional aspect. Physical needs being met. So it's hard to say, if you do X, Y, and Z, you won't have postpartum depression because it is so much more entangled than that.
What are some of the things looking back, some of the actions or mindsets that you maybe notice after the fact? I was feeling like this. Oh, I was doing this. So people have an idea of what to look for. If they're like, oh, I'm doing that. Maybe I do need to talk to somebody about this, or I need to think about how things are going.
I think there is a very fine line when you said shame and guilt, where it crosses over to, oh, maybe this is something more serious. Because without postpartum depression, we all have that. I was crying. I was scared. Of course. This baby, I hope it doesn't die on me, or the guilt of, I really want to take a nap, but my baby also has to feed type of thing. It's a very fine line.
It is. I think especially for first-time moms, it's hard to tell, okay, is this kind of slipping into postpartum depression, or did my whole life just get turned upside down and I'm figuring it out? You know, a lot of that is figured out in retrospect, oddly enough. Now, I do think that there is definitely a time where you're like, I need help and I need it right now. And that is if, like you said, you're having a little bit more suicidal thoughts. If you're having thoughts of hurting your baby or hurting anyone, really, yourself, your baby, your husband, other kids, that is immediate attention that you need. And if it looks like medication, it looks like medication. If it doesn't, if it's a whole body approach, that's beautiful. But I do think that becoming a first-time mom, you're going to experience mom guilt for the first time. You're going to experience this selflessness that you've never had to offer to someone before. Like you said, my baby, she needs to eat right now, and I can't even keep my eyes awake. You know?
So many times.
Yeah, I have to get up for the 8th time tonight. Whatever that looks like, it's going to be hard. And I think that it being hard is different than I have postpartum depression. But again, a lot of the times you don't really figure that out until after the fact and you're looking back.
Did anybody kind of figure? Did anyone say anything to you?
Here's another tip. If you are afraid to tell someone what you've been thinking, you probably have postpartum depression or anxiety or rage. So my husband had no idea because he didn't know what I was thinking. And I knew if I told him, it would be a problem. Especially becoming first-time parents. He's figuring it out too. He's first-time dad. How do you change a diaper? How do you do all this? And so they're going through their own thing too and protecting you. They just watched you go through this incredible transformation of whatever your birth looked like. No matter what it looked like, your husband now has a different perspective of your strength, okay? So he's going through his own thing. One of my things that made me realize, like, whoa, this isn't normal, is I had just put Florence, my oldest, to sleep, and I don't remember how old she was, maybe 5 or 6 months old, and I was looking at her on the monitor, and I realized that every time I put her to sleep, I was telling myself, if she passes away, I'll be okay. I was prepping myself to go in there and find my baby gone every time she was going to sleep.
That does something to you.
For months. And I didn't even realize I was giving myself this pep talk for tragedy. You know what I mean? And it was such a mind game. And I'm Christian, and I do believe that there is a spiritual attack going on as well in our home. And so I do think that played a part. And so there was a lot of things happening at once. But
that obviously influenced your, I'm assuming, your thoughts.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, for sure. For sure. Yeah. And I remember I was sitting on the couch one day, and my husband's name's Frederick. I was like, Frederick, I just realized that it has been months of me preparing myself to walk in and see our baby girl lifeless. And his face turned white. And he was like, what?
I'm sure that shocked him.
Yes. Like, you think this every day, multiple times a day? And I'm like, yeah. And now that I say it out loud, I know it's not normal. But you get into this thought cycle almost where it's just becomes your new normal. And let's say you're starting back work at the same time, or you're changing. I think there's 3 massive hormonal changes that happen in a postpartum stretch within the first year, from birth to baby reaching a year old. And so you've got a lot of things at play. You've got a lot of hormones changing. Maybe you started work back. Maybe you had to move. A lot of people move sometimes when they have kids. Maybe your husband had to get a different job because maybe you're staying home now and now he's the only income. So there's usually a lot of changes happening when you have a baby that's not just having a baby, which that by itself is enough to rock your world.
Totally.
Or if you have other kids already, not even just for first-time moms. If you have other kids, now you're juggling, what does a toddler or 2 toddlers look like with a newborn? There's a lot to be said about it because there's a lot to be said about it. It's not just black and white. There's so much in the middle. Yeah.
Would you have changed anything differently? Say if you did notice you had postpartum depression again. Yeah, what would you?
I so would have. And I did with my second baby. And so for my second, I did not have postpartum depression, anxiety, rage. I didn't have any of the same things that I did with my first. I worked for that. I had a incredible dream home birth. Ended up very similar to yours. Ended up being a free birth. My husband caught the baby. Midwife didn't make it in time. Happened so quickly. And then I had this blissful postpartum. And you know what? When you have a really beautiful experience like that, you almost don't want to share it to some of your friends.
To yourself.
Yeah, because 1, because it's special, but 2, because you don't want to make other moms feel bad about theirs. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because I know a lot of moms can be like, oh, why didn't I have that? Or
yeah, I'm pissed.
Yeah.
I slightly still am in some kind of way,
Of course,
but I've come to terms with what happened.
Yeah.
Whatever.
That is something that you continually work through. You never forget birth.
Oh, totally. My mom always said, because she has 5 kids, she's always like, oh, you just forget about it. That's why you keep having more kids. And then you come back to it and you're like, oh my gosh, that sounds bloody nice.
When that contraction started, I was like, yep.
Here we go again. But it's true though, because I was actually talking to one of my girlfriends who's due in October, and her baby's breached right now. And she was like, I'm trying everything, any which way to flip this baby because I really want a unmedicated, no intervention type of birth, even though she's still going to the hospital.
She knew.
And she's like, they've already told me C-section at 37 weeks, the baby's not flipped and all this other stuff. And she's like, I just can't wrap my head around having a C-section. And I was like, I hate to tell you this, but baby's going to do what baby wants to do.
That
you can do so much.
So this is not what our podcast is about today. But okay. I have a rabbit trail because I'm passionate about breech birth.
Oh, that's really cool.
I am. And I think that we question too much. If baby's breech, perhaps there's a reason. Perhaps she has a short cord. Perhaps her pelvis is like babies fit in the most safe, perfect way that they know how. Babies are very intelligent. Your body is very intelligent. Obviously, I don't know your friend, but if this was a friend of mine and she was saying like, I can't, that is like my biggest fear is like C-section.
Yeah, it was mine too.
I would find another provider. People deliver breech.
That's very true.
Midwives deliver breech. You have options. I know a lot of the times, especially, I don't know if she's late in her, I'm assuming she's pretty late in pregnancy.
Yeah, she's, they keep pushing her due date back because baby's on the smaller side. So I don't exactly know where she's at right now.
And I know like
she's due at the end of October.
Get really hard because you're like, I just prepaid all these OB visits and all this. So trust me, there's a lot of aspects that come into play here. But if you have the means and you have the resources and you have the physical support, you can fire your OB and go hire another one or go interview a midwife. There are options out there. You can get acupuncture to try to flip baby. There's manual
one
things
of our girlfriends, I won't say her name, she wants to be noticed on here, but one of our close girlfriends recently told me that her baby was breached and I had no idea. And she's like, it is the worst pain I've ever felt in my entire life when my midwife flipped my baby. And I was like, that just sounds terrible.
I mean, and it's not guaranteed for them to stay head down. But I think it depends on your philosophy on birth.
Yeah.
It totally does.
And she was a home birth.
Yeah. And did she have the baby at home? Breech?
Yeah. No.
Or flipped?
Flipped.
Okay.
Flipped baby.
But it was successful.
First birth, home birth. Fabulous.
And if her ending up not feeling comfortable with that, and she's like, you know what, I feel safest having this C-section, and that is in line with her beliefs and her birth philosophy, then that's what she needs to do. Because I find that a lot of women, they really desire something, but it's a little bit outside their like usual life philosophy or how they do things, and a lot of the times they end up back there anyway. Anyway, that was such a switch for him.
It's okay.
But
fine.
I can talk for hours about this. That's what I'm saying. Y'all gonna have to cut this. I can literally talk about birth for days.
Birth is awesome.
It is awesome. But what I would do differently, and what I did do differently to avoid XYZ, what worked for me, I made sure that my nutrition was on point. So if that interests anyone out there, any book written by Lily Nichols is gold. She's got Real Food for Pregnancy, Real Food for Fertility, Real Food for Gestational Diabetes. The Real Food for Fertility book goes preconception to conception. That's actually, she co-wrote that one. I don't know if you've heard of the Fertility Friday podcast.
No, I actually haven't.
Okay, such a good one. But she co-wrote that book with the host of that.
That's super cool.
Amazing. And she's got notes. She's definitely animal-based, but there are chapters for plant-based mamas as well.
Yeah.
So get your nutrition in check. And you need to be eating enough constantly. And you need to be eating good foods and foods that make you feel good, that are good for the baby. Because sometimes postpartum depression is literally a copper deficiency.
I was just going to say, could it be related if you're not eating well enough to like a deficiency of a vitamin?
1,000%. B vitamins, copper deficiencies, magnesium deficiencies. Sometimes it really is just that simple. So get your blood work done. But usually for the severe cases, it's that plus something else. Right. Sometimes it really is that simple.
one of my midwives, I had 2 different ones, but I know one of them for postpartum depression, she would take your placenta and dehydrate it and encapsulate it.
Yep.
And there's been studies with that it's supposed to completely help because it's like a storage facility for all of these nutrients and vitamins that have been removed from your body, and you're recycling them and putting them back into your body. Sounds a little creepy.
Yeah.
But it's so smart if you really think about it.
It works for some people.
Do I have to do that part? No, thank
I
you.
did. I chose
No,
not.
thank you. And I do remember when I heard about that, me and Andrew went down a rabbit hole one day and we found an article about how Tom Cruise and one of his wives turned their baby placentas into smoothies and lasagnas.
I was going
and
to say
stuff.
lasagna has been
And
the thing.
totally, but the whole family. I feel like that's when it got a little weird.
No, don't take my vitamins from me. Give them back.
I might spike my husband's coffee with breast milk, but I'm not
Oh, for
feeding him.
sure.
Oh,
sorry. Breast milk
If it
is
works for you, it works for you. That's just not.
But
Yeah.
it's so funny. So on a more fringe idea,
Oh, for sure. But
there are options,
the way you
guys.
explained it, you're taking that sack of vitamins so quickly out of your body that is helping another human and yourself. You're getting stripped of all those perfect nutrients. Why not put them right back in?
Yeah. And it's hearty.
I don't know.
It's meaty. It looks like a roast what's in a zippy bag. I had mine for a while in the freezer and would bring it out occasionally.
And that's one thing I'm so upset about too. And I just keep telling Ryan this randomly is during the whole C-section thing, I think I was just so enthralled at looking at my baby because I also got to see Ryan do all the firsts with him while I was being sewed up. I forgot to ask. I wanted to see my placenta. I really wanted to see what it looked like.
It was probably looked just like an avocado. It was just leafy and green.
They already look like trees, to be honest.
Yeah,
they do.
I mean, I've seen other people's, not in real life, but on YouTube or posts or whatever. But I'm like, oh, I would just love to see what mine would.
You got to do that.
I know. And I told her, I was like, don't let me forget.
Yeah.
Like, okay.
Oh, and they're quick too. They're quick. You will literally not even know, especially if an epidural. You won't even know that your placenta's gone and out of the room already.
Yeah,
done. It's so fast.
That's one thing I do regret.
Oh,
I forgot.
You got it this time.
Okay, next time.
But yeah, so there is a nutritional piece.
Yes.
And then there is a community piece, like village, so to speak. You have to ask for help. You have to. Have you ever heard of the 5-5-5 rule? Okay, it's the American version of what basically every other country does. And that is you stay in bed for 5 days postpartum, you stay on the bed for 5 days postpartum, and then you stay around the bed for 5 days postpartum. And you literally buy paper plates, buy paper cups, strip everything in your life down to what is the necessities and get rid of everything else. It's literally just for 2 weeks. You can do it. It's okay.
It's okay to throw things away.
It's 2 weeks, and it can literally be the game changer for you that you didn't know you needed. Have someone come over, ask a girlfriend, ask people. You would be so surprised how many people would say yes if you just asked.
That's true.
Have a girlfriend.
Hard.
It is so hard. It takes so much. It's almost hard to make it leave your lips. Like it gets stuck here. But ask a girlfriend, can you please come over this Tuesday and clean my kitchen? I just want my husband to sit on the bed with me. I don't want him to have to worry about it. If you don't, I'm going to get up and I'm going to do it. He needs time with his baby too. I need time with him and the baby. You just have to ask and allow that village to come in. But also remember, when it's your turn to be the village, be the village.
Very true.
Yes, because you can't just, it doesn't work that way.
Take and not give.
You can't just take and not give. Even if it looks like dropping a meal off at someone's doorstep and being like, hey, I don't need to see the baby. You don't have to put a bra on. I know you're already probably naked in your bed right now. You're good. I just want you to eat this and feel good. So there's a huge community aspect. And
did you have that, by the way?
oh, yeah.
Okay, good.
I did. I really did. And it's a huge privilege to have. And you have to work really hard in modern days to get that. And I think we forget that's literally what we were created to do. We were created to experience birth with other females, mamas, aunties, cousins. You were meant to have that feminine energy around and encourage you. And women who said, I've done this before, she's done. You can look around the room and lock eyes with women who just did this.
Yeah.
And that, if your midwife even just saying, like, you can do this. What do you mean? There's nothing to worry about, you know?
Yeah.
That does something. And our human nature was created to do that. And not just have that at the birth, but the follow through as well. And it takes so much effort these days to get that to happen. It really does. And there's a lot of moms, they're like, I don't want to intrude. I don't want to make her feel like she's got to do anything. But it's like, just ask. Yeah. And if you don't want someone to come over, say no. You just have to like,
no, it's so easy.
Be a big girl, say no, ask for help,
or accept help when it's offered to you.
And
that's true too. I feel like some people will be like, oh, let me bring you a meal. And you'll be like, no, I'm good. If you don't want them in your house, be like, I'd love a meal. That sounds great. Could you just drop it on the porch?
Yes.
And you know what? They'll probably still bring a meal.
Yes, they like 9 times out of 10.
And it's like, I had a friend in the past year or so that had a baby. And I didn't even ask her. I was like, oh, you had your baby? Oh, cool. When are you going to be home from the hospital? And she was like, this day. And I was like, great. And then 10 minutes before I was going to show up, I was like, hey, I'm in the neighborhood. I'm just going to drop something by. You don't need to come out. And she was like, what? And I was like, I'll be there in 10 minutes. And she was like, oh, and I was like, okay, bye. And then I showed up with the full meal, the food, some cookies, snacks for the toddlers, all that stuff. And just be like, here you go. And she told me just recently, her baby's almost a year old now. She told me, she's like, you know what? She's like, you were the only one who did that for me when I had a baby. And she has 2 kids that are older. Like her kids are pretty spaced out. She's like, you're the only one who did that for me. She's like, you would not believe how much that one meal sustained us for so many days. And she's like, and how it was so nice just to get up and be like, oh, I can have some of that chicken casserole just made like just something. And it doesn't have to be extravagant.
When you're postpartum.
It doesn't have to be crazy. Like you have a baby, you'll eat anything. Yeah. You are starving all the time. You're producing milk. You just want something to shove in your mouth. You want something to throw at your kids kind of thing. So for the people that have friends that are pregnant, pay attention to when they have their babies and show up with food. And you don't technically have to ask permission, because most people, if you show up with a full meal and they don't enter the door, you text them and say, I left it on the porch. And they're not going to leave it on the porch, guys. They're going to come get it and they're going to scarf it down happily in their little pregnancy panties and all that. Blood everywhere, whatever's happening, all the messes, they're going to appreciate it.
I agree with that.
So, yeah. And if somebody's like, oh, let me do a meal train, say, oh my God, I would love that.
Yeah.
Don't shut people down, because that's what friends are supposed to do. That's what friends are for. And how often do we just shut our friends down when they have a great opportunity to literally just serve us in one of our weakest moments, in our most exhausted times. And then if we just constantly shut those people down, then we wonder later down the road, like, oh man, why do I feel like I'm not connected to people? Well, because you shut them down.
Yes,
because
true.
Because you didn't accept their help when you were in a rough spot, because you didn't want them to see you without a bra or topless or whatever. Like, just stop being so concerned about all the outside and let's talk about accepting friendship.
It's so true. Accept it and ask for it. And then when it's your turn, be the person. Be the person.
Well, and just like you said, when you shared your thoughts with your husband, these are the thoughts I'm having. So many times as moms, we want to be the best mom and we want to be the most loving and the most put together and have the most well-behaved kids. Guys, these feelings don't go away when your kids get older. Just a heads up.
True.
It's just different levels of anxiety and stress and concern. Am I doing the right thing? And so you saying those words out loud to your husband, like you said, I realized when it came out of my mouth, I'm crazy. This doesn't make sense. And half of having female friendships is having a safe place to say all the crazy things.
With no judgment.
With no judgment. And your friend to be like, oh yeah, I totally wanted to stab my husband when I was postpartum. You know what I mean?
Be surprised if they have the same thoughts.
There is so many women out there that feel alone in their thoughts and their feelings in these really difficult, challenging moments. And they're not saying anything because women have this innate feeling of, I have to hold it together. I have to keep emotional connections. Women are traditionally the emotional connector of a family. They're the representation of love and care and nurturing. And when they're in this place of like 24/7, 365 days a year of nurturing and caring, and they're struggling, they don't want to say things out loud that they're feeling, because then it says, I'm a failure. It says, I'm a failure at what I want to be or who I'm presenting that I am. And if we would just stop trying to present this beautiful box with a bow on it and be like, yeah, I wanted to throw my kid out of the car. Yeah, I wanted to put a pillow over my husband's face because he was sleeping and I've been up 18 times in the last 4 hours. All of those things, those feelings and thoughts you might be having, women are having these feelings. And if you would just say them out loud to somebody, you would be like, oh, that's crazy. I'm not actually going to do that. But you remove it from your mind, and then it doesn't get to sit there and roll around constantly every day grinding on you.
That's exactly. No.
I think the community side of it is very powerful.
And you made a good point. The resentment of you look over at your husband sleeping. And,
oh yeah, that's a hard one.
And you're up, and he doesn't have milk. You know, he can't, unless you're bottle feeding. Exactly. And whatever it may be that you're starting to resent for. But another good preventative measure for feeling supported is having that discussion with your spouse or with your older kids and saying, this is what I'm expecting. Going into this is what I'm expecting. I think a lot of times, I remember with my first baby, I caught myself asking my husband for permission, like, hey, can I go shower real quick? And with the second baby, I was like, I'm going to go shower real quick. He never made me feel like I had to ask. He never made me feel like I shouldn't go take a shower. He never made me feel that way. But I think when you become a new mom, you have this, I'm mommy, I have to do all this myself. I have to take care of this baby 100%. But that's how it was for me, at least. And so I think that maybe having clear expectations of, hey, husband, hey, older kids, I'm going to let you know, mommy will not be doing any dishes at all these first few weeks. Mommy's not going to be dropping you off at school. Mommy's not going to be doing X, Y, and Z. Mommy's not going to be cooking. We're going to be eating off paper plates. You're probably going to get more screen time, whatever it is that looks realistic prep for you. I think that can really help because a lot of times there is 2 different lives going on, and the mom is like, okay, I'm going to do this and this and this and this. And the husband has no idea, no clue. No one told him what plans you had. And so you go into postpartum and your husband is unknowingly dropping the ball on all of this stuff that he didn't even know he was responsible for.
Yeah.
You have to tell someone, tell your sister, tell your husband, tell the older kids, whatever it is, you have to tell them so that way those expectations are met and prepared in advance, because that can do, the world of a difference when you're laying in bed postpartum and you know that the kitchen is a tornado and all you can think about is that the kitchen's a tornado. You're just like, I'm just going to get up and do it.
Yeah.
You cannot physically do it, but you will. You'll find a way.
Yeah.
And your husband literally has no idea that you've had background app refresh of the kitchen going on in your head for like 12 hours.
Yeah.
It doesn't bother him. It's not bothering you, you know? So I think that expectations needs to be clear. And the last piece that I had for prep for avoiding all of these things, I went in hard on my spiritual life and prayer, and I don't know where y'all stand with that. So I'm just going to talk about what I did personally.
Yeah.
But I had really bad postpartum rage. And I've never really been an angry person. I wasn't angry. Yes. And I don't deal with that at all anymore. And this is not a popular answer, but y'all, I got prayed over and I literally got delivered from the spirit of rage. And so I think that there is a lot to say about having all of your bases covered when it comes to the nutritional piece, the physical piece, the community, all of this stuff. But if you are a spiritual person and you are not bringing your spiritual piece into it, you're leaving yourself vulnerable. So that's just for fellow Jesus believers out there. And that literally changed everything for me. And so I spent my entire pregnancy, I was praying for hours, and I was so specific. Lord, I want this, I want this, I want this. And I think that a lot of today's age, people will tell you, like, don't make such a specific birth plan. Don't do this. Don't do this. You're setting yourself up for disappointment. And I think that's a really terrible way to live, because if you can shoot for far above your expectations, then even if you don't get there, you've ended up with so much more than nothing. I don't know. Does that make sense?
Going the spiritual side of things, the Bible talks about your words have power.
For sure.
But if you think about it, and all of the current information we have on affirmations, those people might not be spiritual. Those people might not believe in God or a higher power or anything like that. But surprise, people who do affirmations where they're saying stuff out loud, oh my gosh, it's still powerful. So it doesn't really matter which direction, which lane you're in. Words are powerful regardless of what you believe or who you believe in. And so I love that you were like, I'm going to be specific about this because that's how it goes. And it's like, why would we not try? Why would we not try to say, this is what I want? This is how it's going to go. This is what's going to happen. Because what's the worst that can happen? It doesn't go that way. But what if your words,
what if it does?
What if your words actually helped it go that way? Whether it is some mystical power, whether it's a higher God, whatever it might be. What if you just saying that out loud fix something in your mind or fix something in your body that created the outcome that you wanted, just by saying those words out loud, just by changing a mindset, just by changing a thought pattern, by deciding this is what I want, this is what I'm going to say that I want, and then let's see the results of it. So keep being specific, girl.
So specific, and it's so great.
I was so specific. I said, Lord, I want a labor in under 4 hours. Got it. I secretly really wanted a free birth, but I value so much the skills that a midwife brings. And so I wasn't willing to commit to a free birth, but I wanted everything about it. And I did not do it on purpose, but I did get that. I was like, Lord, I want the baby to be born in the morning. She was like, I had an entire list. I wrote out my birth story, and it was every single thing I prayed for got answered.
That's awesome.
Yes. And so you have to know what direction you're going in, or else you can get lost and someone else will decide for you. If you don't decide, this is how I'm going to do things, it's going to be this way. If things go astray, I tried. Someone else will decide for you if you don't. And I learned that really well with this one. And really, the Lord was so good to answer all that and to truly heal me from my rage. I have not dealt with that at all. And I literally felt my body change. Like I felt the power of the Holy Spirit take that from me. And I'm like, thank you, Lord. And so I had to mention that because it was everything. It was the thing that changed it all. And so there's that. There's having people come around you and also be praying for you, also be affirming those things, encouraging you. Like, you can do this. You got this. You need your brothers and sisters and your family and your best friend. You need them to come around you and be like, I know you can do this. You've got it. And I say, I know you can do it.
Oh, yeah, totally.
It's so good. It's so good. Those are all the things that I did this whole second pregnancy to get to where I am now. And my baby just turned 8 months old.
And she's
What's today? The 18th? Is today the 18th?
Yeah, it is.
Okay, she's 8 months old today.
Aww.
So she's born in January. But yeah, that was incredible. I'm like, okay, every time now I have a baby, like this is exactly what I want it to look like.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
That makes me so happy for you.
It was very cool. Very, very
So has anybody cooked anything or going to cook anything great this week or in the past or future or whatever? I'm doing curry this week.
Ooh. I love curry.
I have been craving curry so bad. I almost made it last night at 11 o'clock, and then I stood in the kitchen and I was like, is this a good idea? And Ryan was like, no. I was like, okay, I'll have ramen. I was like, I don't want to start chopping vegetables. I don't want it to start simmering and having to cook. And then I got to cook rice because I have to have rice with my curry.
Yeah, of course.
But I will be making it either today or tomorrow or the weekend if I can get to it.
I'm excited for you.
I'm so excited. I've been really wanting green curry so bad, and I have everything for it. It's just been sitting there waiting for me to like cook and use. I just haven't had the energy or my drive to do it, but I want it so bad. But yeah, green curry is on my menu.
I made it was called a cheeseburger soup or something.
Yeah.
It sounds kind of gross, but it was ground beef. I used frozen cubed hash browns because I was really tired and lazy, and I didn't want to cook. I didn't want to chop actual potatoes. Sue me, guys. I even brought pre-chopped onions, which I've never done, and I was just so lazy. I don't care.
You gotta do what you gotta do.
That's why it's there.
That's why it's there. So all this stuff, it was basically this yummy creamy sauce. You added half and half and cottage cheese. You were adding more protein in it. It was high protein, guys. And then you topped it with cheese and bacon.
Yeah.
But you use an au jus packet and a ranch packet. The seasoning was really interesting. Au jus packet, ranch packet. But the problem is the ending color was,
was it kind of funky?
it was kind of brownish tan.
Gray.
But like
Gray.
cream?
Gray is a very good description.
It's the
It was
hamburger meat.
it was a hand. So it was
does
very
that.
unappetizing looking. And I tell my kids, group text, dinner's ready. They're gradually coming down.
Good luck with this one.
And I'm like, I can see the look on their face when they see it in the pot, because without the cheese and whatever, it's just this gray brown sludge. And I'm like, I know it looks gross, but I promise it tastes really good. So put it in your bowl and eat your dinner.
I can already see your children's
And
faces.
Then they're all like, they happen to all come sit down on the couch. So we're all on the couch with our bowls of cheeseburger, whatever. And my daughter is looking at it. She puts a spoon in her mouth and she's like, she was,
No.
and it wasn't
like
the
it?
flavor. I think it was more of a texture thing for her. She's a texture person, whatever. But so everybody's like, oh, this tastes really good. But they're like, it just looks bad. I was like, close your eyes and shovel it in.
Add more cheese.
So
you can
anyways,
see it. I don't
the
know.
cheeseburger soup was very delicious.
Yeah, scoop it with chip.
The cheeseburger soup was delicious, but it was not pretty.
That's
So,
okay.
But that's
It
fine.
happens.
It happens.
It was good. And
Yeah.
it was so fast. And I felt like they had a decent meal. So
There you go.
success.
Yeah,
I got
that's
the
all that
protein.
matters.
Yeah.
It's all good. It's all good.
Yeah, seriously.
Today, I'm taking on my very first birthday cake.
Ooh,
It's
for your daughter.
Yes, for my daughter, because she turns 3 on Saturday.
How exciting!
And my mother-in-law, she is a cake queen. She's a cake connoisseur,
That is so cool.
so to speak. I don't even know if that's the right
No,
word
it
to use
is.
there.
Mhm.
But my husband, he was saying that she did everything. Full-on edible erupting volcano cakes and
Oh.
beehive cakes that you
How
could pull
cool.
out the hives if it was like a doctor theme or something. But she made a whole hospital cake with a landing pad and people.
Oh my gosh, I love
This is not
her.
me. So she's coming over. She'll be staying the night tonight because I will be baking the cake because I bake and I've never made a birthday cake truly before. But this is my first 3-layer. It's a small one,
Cute.
but a
So
3-layer
exciting.
cake. And my daughter's obsessed with ballerinas right now and the tap shoes.
Tap shoes. She's a
Yes,
dancer.
she's a little dancer. So we're doing a ballerina cake. I'm baking it. My mother-in-law's decorating it.
Like the shape.
Okay, are we making it out of a box cake?
No, I don't do that.
Doing
I'm very. I
hardcore
love
from
baking from
scratch.
scratch.
Because I was gonna
I
say,
didn't grow up
if
that way.
I was gonna say, if you are making it from a box cake, pro tip for the best cake:
Okay.
add a package of pudding,
Ooh.
just the
Just
powder
the-
part, into your cake mix when you make it. That's it. Nothing else. You just add it in, and it adds
Mhm.
this
Ooh.
texture. It holds the moisture
Press the
in.
button.
So when you don't feel like making a cake from scratch, but you
Yeah.
want it to taste better than just a box cake, you can add whatever flavor you want. You can do chocolate in a
Ooh,
chocolate
you can do,
cake.
like,
You can add
lemon.
cheesecake. You can add lemon, whatever you want. It doesn't change the flavor a ton, but it just adds a little extra.
That's so good to know.
Pro tip.
So, anyways, for those
I love that.
that don't want to from scratch to make,
Here's my funny thing. I love making things from scratch. That's one of my love languages. Is showing that to my family. And my husband bought these lobster cheddar rolls.
Oh. What's the
Red
restaurant?
Lobster. The
Yeah,
Red
yeah.
Lobster
That's
cheddar.
a
Cheddar Bay biscuits.
Yeah.
There you go.
It came in a box. And I was like, yeah, we got to make these biscuits. And she did not believe me that everything we needed was in this box because she bakes everything with me.
Mm.
She's like, okay, where's the eggs? Where's the baking soda? I'm like, what?
It's your daughter?
Yes.
Oh my gosh. I
Yes.
love it.
And she is all about it. And I'm like, no, baby, this is it. Just dump it out. Pour it in.
And it's a biscuit.
Yeah, it's a biscuit. Pop it in the oven. Bada bing, bada boom, baby. Open you up to a whole world of Red Lobster cheddar biscuit.
She's like, we've been doing this wrong the whole time.
She likes the complexity. That's what I'll be doing today.
How exciting.
That's so fun.
Well, send us a photo or post
I
a photo
will.
about it. I can't wait to see it.
I will. Thanks for having me.
Oh my gosh,
This is
thank you so
awesome.
much for coming.
This is really, really fun.
I know, you shared some really valuable information. And
Yeah.
I'm excited for our listeners to get some nice practical
Yeah.
from real moms,
Mhm.
guys. We don't have to be professionals to share
yeah.
the wisdom that we have with each other.
Mhm.
So
I
I
agree
really
with that.
appreciate you coming.
Of course.
Yeah.
So,
And being so vulnerable. Thank you.
Oh, yeah, that's what I do.
Right? That's what we all do.
Cool.
Thank you, everybody, for listening. Have a beautiful day.
you too. Bye-bye.
Adios. Ciao.
And that, party people, wraps up another delightful episode of Parties to Playdates.
We hope you're leaving with a smile, a story, and maybe a tip or two.
Remember, life's journey is better shared with a friend.
And we're so grateful to be part of yours.
If you enjoyed today's chat, don't forget to rate and subscribe to our show.
Your support keeps our community growing and our stories flowing. We want to hear from you. Please send us your thoughts, ideas, and questions to partiestoplaydates@gmail.com. You can also find us on Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok at Parties to Playdates.
Until next time, keep embracing the chaos and finding the joy.
Take care and stay connected, party people.
Bye for now, and don't forget to laugh a little extra today.
Bye.